Various organizations consider layered security to be a best practice for protecting their network infrastructure. In the cloud, security groups, network ACLs, and host-based firewalls might cater to the needs of many customers. However, from the perspective of Amazon Web Services security best practices, it is recommended to go for a defense in-depth method by deploying a network-level security control appliance such that the traffic is intercepted and analyzed before it is forwarded to its final destination. Sophos XG Firewall integrates multiple leading security technologies into a single solution. This includes deep packet inspection with IPS, advanced threat protection, web and application filtering, on-box granular reporting, antivirus scanning, web application firewall, and various types of remote access and site-to-site VPN technologies such as IPsec and SSL VPN. In this video, we will demonstrate how administrators can deploy and manage XG Firewall in the AWS Cloud Platform. As a prerequisite, make sure to have a valid AWS account. Let us look at the steps to deploy XG Firewall version 18 in an AWS account. Once you have logged into your AWS account, navigate to Services, EC2, and then under Network and Security, select Key Pairs and click on Create Key Pair. Enter an appropriate name, keep the file format as PPK, and then click on the Create Key Pair button. It will download and save the PPK key file on your computer. Next, visit the AWS Marketplace and search for Sophos XG. Currently, XG Firewall is available for standalone deployments using both the Bring Your Own License or BYOL and Pay-as-you-go or PAYG licensing methods. In this example, we are selecting the BYOL option. Click on the Continue to Subscribe button. After viewing the terms and conditions, click on Continue to Configuration. For the Fulfillment option, choose CloudFormation Template. Select the required AWS region where you wish your XG Firewall to be deployed, and then click on the Continue to Launch button. Select the Choose Action option as Launch CloudFormation, and then click on the Launch button, which will redirect to the CloudFormation page. A CloudFormation template is used to simplify the process of deploying the XG Firewall into an AWS account. Leave all the settings as default and click on Next. Enter an appropriate stack name. The AMI ID parameter would be mentioned as AutoDetect. The customer can choose any option available from the supported instance type list as shown here. In this video, we will enter the value as default, which means it will deploy the XG Firewall instance with the recommended size. That is, M4.large. Select the required availability zone for public subnet and enter the first 2 octets of the IP subnet as the network prefix. Optionally, if an existing VPC needs to be used for the XG Firewall, enter the VPC ID, existing public subnet ID, private subnet ID, and select the option to create a new elastic IP or utilize an existing available EIP. Enter the required parameters such as the Trusted Network CIDR that will be used to access and manage the XG Firewall. Under the Pricing option, select Hourly if you want to go for the PAYG, otherwise select BYOL. In this video, we will select BYOL. The SSH key pair section is a mandatory field, and you can either use the existing keys or create a new key pair and select it as was shown earlier in this video. This SSH key is used to securely access the SSH console of the XG Firewall. Then, click on the Next button to continue. You may optionally choose to enter details in the Configure Stack options and Advanced options. However, they are not mandatory fields. In this video, we are just adding a tag for the name parameter of the XG instance and then clicking on the Next button. Review the summary page, and finally, click on the Create Stack button. Stack creation will typically take a few minutes. Once it is completed, the status should change to Create Complete. The Outputs tab shows the elastic IP or EIP assigned to the XG firewall with a label of Public IP Address. After the stack creation process is complete, click on Services EC2 and select the Instances section. You will see the EC2 instance of the XG firewall being loaded into your account. This may take some additional time to complete the startup processes. Now let's see the steps needed to access the XG firewall. Once the XG EC2 instance is in a running state, copy the assigned public IP. Open the web browser and try to access the XG firewall web UI via the same public IP on HTTPS port 4444. XG Firewall uses a self-signed certificate by default, hence the browser will display a warning message. After accepting it, it will display the welcome page. Click the Click to Begin option. Set the new password for the default admin account that is used to log into the firewall. Configure a firewall name and choose an appropriate time zone. There are various options to register the XG firewall device. If the customer doesn't have the serial ID of the XG firewall, they can select the second option and proceed, so that a new customer portal account will be created and the XG serial ID will be automatically created and used for the registration process. Customers migrating from a Sophos SG-UTM device to XG can select the third option. Optionally, the registration process can be skipped temporarily and the customer can immediately start using the XG firewall. However, it cannot be used beyond 30 days. In this video, since we have considered the BYOL deployment method and, assuming the customer has already received the serial ID of the XG firewall from the Sophos team, we will go for the first option. Enter the serial ID and click on the Continue button. This will redirect to the customer portal where customers can use their existing customer portal account or create a new one to register this new XG firewall. In this video, we will select the Create Sophos ID option. Complete the verification process and enter the required details. Then, finish the setup by clicking on the Initiate License Synchronization button. Once the basic setup is complete, the license details will be displayed. For AWS deployments, click on the Skip to Finish section located at the bottom of the screen. Once the configuration is applied, the XG device will reboot, and after a few minutes, the administrator can access the XG firewall instance on its public IP via HTTPS port number 4444. This completes the deployment of the XG firewall in AWS. Now, by default, HTTPS and SSH access is enabled on the WAN zone. Hence, as a security best practice, we strongly recommend you create a local ACL rule for the trusted and allowed public IP addresses by navigating to System, Administration, Device Access, and click on the Add button. Select the source zone as WAN, and for the source network, create a new IP host object. Enter the public IP address that is considered trusted or allowed for the XG device access, and then click the Save button. Select the services as HTTPS and SSH. Set the action as Accept, and then click on Save. Once the local ACL rule is created, you can disable the HTTPS and SSH flags for the WAN zone, so that the XG device is not accessible from any other public IP address on the Internet. Please feel free to go through these additional resources for more information. So in this way, you can deploy and manage Sophos XG Firewall version 18 in the AWS Cloud Platform. We hope you liked this video, and thank you for watching.